Welcome to Tokyosaurus. So what's up in Japan? The new Pokemon movie has just started airing in Japan, and it's already breaking records left and right, sliding right into the top spot in Japan's box office with pretty much no trouble. Having to launch with other big hitters like Gintama's live-action movie along with Studio Ponok's Mary and the Witch's Flower, which is pretty much the new Ghibli at this point, this was definitely no small feat. The film has sold over 400,000 tickets from the first 2 days alone, which equates to over 500 million yen and is showing no signs of stopping anytime soon. Turns out Japan wasn't part of the few people that were butthurt from the missing Misty and Brock in this new nostalgic retelling of the first adventures of Ash. But was it really a retelling without Misty and Brock? Or is this something entirely on its own even though they sold it as a nostalgic throwback to the beginning of it all? Now just in case you haven't read the title of the video, the following will contain minor spoilers to the film, so you have been warned. Now I think the first thing you'll notice when watching the film is that we finally don't have a Pokemon movie that's all about saving the world from some legendary Pokemon that has gone nuts for reasons. But rather, we now have a narrative that focuses on the relationship between the trainer and the Pokemon, and obviously Ash's growth as a trainer. This is a story of Ash simply pursuing his dreams with his trusty companions. We see his flaws, we see him doubting himself, and a side of him that we have never seen before that gives him much more depth than what we're used to seeing in the anime or past movies. This Pokemon movie definitely has the strongest narrative out of all the Pokemon movies released so far, and that's really saying something being the 20th film release in the entire franchise. It feels like they were gunning for something really different in this special 20th anniversary celebration for the anime's initial release, and they really hit it out of the park with this one even though it wasn't absolutely flawless. People were pretty upset about the new characters Makoto and Soji not being Brock and Misty as per the original. Here we have Soji, a boy that aspires to become a Pokemon professor, and Makoto, a girl who wants to become a great Pokemon trainer. They both serve to build Ash's character and to move the plot, which is great, but we don't really get to dive into their own characters all that much. So what about in terms of actual plot? I Choose You has tons of references of the stories that were told 20 years ago from the first season, but were all mostly redone in a way that fits the movie format much better. Squirtle and Bulbasaur unfortunately did not make it into this film, but we did get Caterpie and Charmander's encounters and stories which were quite different than the original. Caterpie battles Ash instead of getting caught off guard, but still evolves into Butterfree. And yes, still gets released at the end, and yes, you will still cry even after 20 years. Charmander's story is also very similar to the original story with a few changes. Ash still finds Charmander in the rain. However, this time around, Charmander's old trainer is Ash's new rival, Cross. Charmander still evolves into Charizard, but does not have the same temperament as the Charizard we knew from the anime. He listens to Ash a lot more than the Charizard from the original anime, and a lot of this Charizard's development comes from his encounters with Cross. So he feels like a completely different Charizard than the one we knew from the anime. Although some of you may not like the fact that they changed up pretty much everything, it's still quite neat to see a new spin on the old stories, kind of like seeing a reboot of the original. Ho-Oh's appearance was also changed as most of us have seen in the trailer. When Ash and Pikachu see Ho-Oh for the first time at the very end of the first episode, they see Ho-Oh flying off into the rainbow. In this new movie, Ho-Oh leaves a rainbow wing for Ash and Pikachu before flying off. Oh, and remember Gary? He appears in the movie, but only for a few seconds. As this is pretty much like a reboot of the original, there are tons of changes, and aside from the skeletal structure, it's pretty much like a whole new story. But even so, I think as a fan that grew up with the series, I still believe most of us will appreciate this movie as one of the best Pokemon has to offer to date. Anyways, what did you guys think of the 20th Pokemon movie so far? Still mad about Misty and Brock? As usual, let me know down in the comments below. Thumbs up the video if you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for Tokyosaurus for the latest things people are talking about in Japan. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.